Shalom, shalom. First off, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Yahweh being the true name of Heavenly Father, Yahushai being named His only begotten Son, the world ignorantly calls God, is Jesus Christ. I want to give double honor to our apostles, double honor to our elders, a great millstone, Natasha's truth and will well. This site takes into you hopeful excellence, truth, and honesty, sincerity. This is Brother Yawasap, comes to another lesson to the spirit power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Another update in times and events. As you can see, you know, the price of silver over the years has skyrocketed. More specifically this month, okay, it jumped up to $120 per ounce, and then it jumped back down to basically it's at $79 per ounce, and it's been fluctuating between 79 and 100. Within like every other day or so, it's been going up and down, but it's been consistently above $75 per ounce, which that's a huge number, you know. And brother's been speaking on it. You know, when it first went up to $75 per ounce, brother would start doing lessons on it, because it's, you know, it's $75 per ounce, and the price of gold is like $5,000 per ounce. You see, you know, this is a sign that the United States dollar does not have enough weight to purchase, you know, the amount of silver, man. Your dollar is supposed to be backed, and that goes to show that this economy is getting ready to crash. You know, so hey, the scriptures talk about how victuals shall be so good and cheap upon the earth that they should think themselves to be in good case. You know, just because it dropped down to 75 does not mean you're in good case, because $75 is still an outrageously high compared to how it's been over the years. You know, this photo, you know, they wrote on this sheet of paper there. You see, 2020, the price of it. You know, and that's 2020 is when that time frame, 2020-ish, between 2018, 20. Is when I first started being exposed or getting silver. Okay, started learning about it a little bit, and there was an elder sister that comes up to visit us every once in a while. She blessed me with some, you know. And shalom to you, sister, if you're listening, tuning in, man. And that's when I started doing some research on it, you know, learning more about it. And I remember, yeah, it was like for $20. You could go and, you know, and buy a silver coin, man, 1 ounce. You know, I think I might have bought one coin myself, you know, a while back, and I bought one. You know, but I always, you know, wanted to get more, but just never got around to it. You know, but just goes to show, you know, the state of what this government is in for now silver to be this expensive. And I did some research on the internet, and you can as well. As far as what was going on in the silver market, in the gold and silver trading market back during World War II. Okay, and the same thing happened in World War II. The price of silver skyrocketed, and then they dropped it, and then right after they dropped it, the United States entered World War II. D-Day, you know. So this trend right here can show you that we're probably leaning up towards another world war. It's probably about to start and pop off. And Salaki, you know, I want to bring out some scriptures, but I'm actually in transit, and it is night, so I got to be safe on the road. But I wanted to put this warning out here and give you a visual of the state that the United States is in. Okay? That's crazy, man. So that's what $5,000 of silver, you know, what $5,000 will buy you of that much amount of silver right there. What you see, that's little to nothing, man. It means the United States dollar does not have enough purchasing power. Okay? And for the same price of $5,000, you could only get 1 ounce of gold. One coin. One. That's insane, man. And I remember when I was with my ex-wife, she had bought an ounce of gold. I think she had came across some money that she got out the military, and they paid her some settlement, and she used some of that money, and she bought an ounce of gold, and that was $2,000 for just one coin, you know. Which I was telling her, you know, hey, it's cool to buy it, but you know, you might want to save $2,000. That's a lot to spend on just one piece of gold. But yeah, you know, it's over time it does double in price. It adds up, you know. But this is why you can't put your trust in this nation. Okay, you can't put your scriptures talk about woe unto them that trust in the shadow of Egypt, man. So you could try to stock and put stuff to the side all you want, but ultimately, you know, what's going to be considered more valuable than gold is bartering items. Okay, because I mean, you're not going to be able to buy anything pretty soon. So unless, I mean, it might be wise if you're going to get some silver, look into getting like mercury dimes, any dimes that were minted before 1964 or 1964 and before. They contain basically 90% silver. I believe this is the same rule for quarters. Anything before 1964, you know, do your research. Go through your change. If you got a piggy bank and you've been saving up change, go through them dimes, man. All you gotta do is go on Google. Google has AI, and it'll tell you what year your coins are worth. I'm trying to put bros on game, man, because you know I learned about it. And I went to one of those coin machines, you know, not too long ago. Well, actually, it was long ago. It was a while ago, because I ain't going back to them damn coin machines no more. Now that I know what I know about these coins, you know, I went to one and, you know, deposited all the change I had to get some cash. And one of the dimes kept getting kicked out of the machine. I was like, why the fuck is not taking this dime? Is it fake? But that's when I had just kind of came across some information about silver dimes, and one of the Akim had gifted me some mercury dimes when I went to Colorado with the fellowship with them brothers, man. Shalom to you, Akim, as well. Yabba from Shabbat. And those bros put me on, you know, mercury dimes, and you got war dimes as well, or war nickels. But yeah, they gifted me like 2 or 3 of those dimes that were 90% silver. So, you know, I tried to dump my change to get some cash, and one dime kept kicking out, and I looked at it and I said, I remember they telling me about these dimes. I was like, this looked like the dime that the brothers gave me. And I looked at it, and it felt different. It weighed a little bit different, you know, than the other dimes. I was like, I think this is silver. Sure enough, man, I researched it, typed in the year that was on the dime, and Googled it. That dime that went in my piggy bank, man, that mug was fucking 90% silver, man. And each dime right now you get, if you do have them, they're not worth 10 cents. They're worth like $5. And that value is going to continue to go up. So if you got a whole roll of them, that money adds up. You know, you can go to your bank and you can request a roll of dimes. You want to request a roll of dimes, you want to request a roll of $half as well. Because $half, I think it's, you have to Google it though, but I'm pretty sure it's anything older than 1964 on a $half or a 50-cent coin. If it's that old, it's also considered a high amount of silver. I think it's over 40%, I believe. And, you know, those $half are bigger than dimes. So you have to look up the value on that. I'm driving right now, so I don't know off the top of my head. But I've always been researching this through the Spirit heavily, man. I was getting into, you know, also treasure hunting at the thrift stores. You can go to the thrift store and look for antique, you know, stuff that they have for sale on the shelves. Hey, yo, bros, write this down, man. Because it's right now you're not allowed to go buy any silver, I believe, unless they lifted it. But hey, you go to the thrift store. You know, look at the bottom or whatever it is that looks like it's silver. You know, that silverware. Check your silverware. Check your, you know, all those teapots and plates that are metal. Look at the bottom. If you see the number 925, that means it's 92.5% silver. and you got a whole teapot, that's worth a lot of money. It could be worth even more money if it's from a famous person, or not famous person, but from a famous company or reputable company that is considered really high antique. You know, you can just research it, and really you can just upload photos of shit on ChatGPT and it'll tell you what it's worth. You know, but if it's not something that's like antique, you can just take a hammer to it, and you want to trade it at a local coin shop for junk silver, or even pawn shops sometimes will take junk silver. You know, you just basically treat it like you would aluminum can. You just break it down, smash it up, ball it up, you know, and weigh it. Get you a little scale at home and you can weigh it, and you might stumble across some silver, man. But people think that, you know, it's easy. When they think it's easy to buy stuff, they think themselves to be in good case, what the scriptures say. You know, but hey, when they say peace and safety, suddenly destruction come. They are going to crash this economy. And outside of digital, this will be the only accepted currency, is silver. So if you can get your hands on it and don't spend it. It's going to get to the point silver is going to be like $500 an ounce, man. Elder Apostle Har was speaking about that. So keep watch, man. Okay? And you read the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter, it talks about it, man. How the merchants shall mourn and weep over her, because no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. It talks about the economic collapse in Revelation, the 18th chapter. It goes right into it. It goes into all the goods that are traded, you know, are going to fail. And many countries are going to stand afar off, weeping and wailing for her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, which has such great riches, has come to naught, roughly paraphrasing. So when you see the prices of this, just know that pretty soon, that same bill of cash that you have, you may have a $100 bill, that shit is going to equal $1 or less. Can you imagine? And you can't buy any bread. That goes into the prophecy of famines. So keep an eye on what's going on in this gold and silver market, because that is what determines what the value of your current currency is, based on how much that gold and silver is. Lets you know your buying power of the cash of American dollars. And right now it's extremely low. This is that's all the silver you can get in 2026 for $5,000. You know, back in 2020, look how much silver you could have bought. And even in 2020, like, you know, that was still considered a little bit expensive, like a damn near $20 an ounce. Okay? That's when people were just like, oh, it's up, it's going up. You know, but it was still manageable. You know, you could still afford it. But now, no, man. You got to spend $75 to $80 and all you get is one of those coins. You see that? And it's going to get worse. So, you know, if you got any spare change, go through it. Take the time to research the dates and the years for each currency of each coin that you might have. Even pesos, like certain Mexican pesos, certain years, they contain a lot of silver. Save that shit. Okay? Because in the times to come, you're going to need to barter. And you're going to need to use silver to pay for things, or everyday toiletries, lighters, okay? Knives, rope, candles, matches, foil, okay? Think of things that you need every day that you use, like in your kitchen, you know, deodorants, soaps, mouthwash, toothbrushes, toothpaste, toilet paper. Those are the things that people are going to be trying to trade to get what they need. It's going to come to that. Pretty soon, everybody will be broke, man. Everybody will be broke. There's not going to be no rich man in America. Everybody's going to be done. And they're setting it up that way, man. Only the elites are going to have all the damn money. If you're not already a multi-billionaire, you know, there ain't nothing for you. And how many billionaires exist in America? Amongst all these millions of people, how many of them are billionaires? It's very rare. Millionaires they're gonna crumble. A lot of these people, even billionaires, are gonna lose all their money. The banks, you had a bank in Chicago that just collapsed. So we in these times, man. And if you don't have the spirit power of Yahweh Shem El Shai and the Lord with you, if you're not a laborer, if you're not a believer, if you don't support this ministry, if you don't repent, you won't have divine intervention to where the Lord can still make sure you're provided for. Because the scriptures say, my servant shall eat, my servant shall drink, my servant shall rejoice. But ye shall be hungry and ye shall be ashamed, roughly paraphrasing, man. So, you don't want to be in that predicament. You can't put your trust in it now and think that maybe, the way your ticket of making it is by how much silver you're able to rush and get now. No, that ain't the answer, man. Get what you can. Like I say, hit up these thrift stores, Goodwill, another store like Save. I think some different states have different names of thrift stores and companies. A lot of people have been just, over the years, have been just donating silverware to these stores. Those silver plates and pots and pans. Okay, I'm talking about the stuff that goes on top of the table, like something that looks a little decorative. Pay attention to the jewelry that's there too, that might have been donated. Sometimes they have bags of jewelry. Go through it. Look on the back. Look for that number 925. Another one is 83832 or something like that. When you see a number stamped on the back, look that up. There's a number and there's another symbol. Like one of them is like in the UK, if you see a stamp of a lion on the back, it'll be tiny. You got to really squint to see it in most cases. You'll see a stamp of a lion and that usually means that's silver. Okay, and I believe that's 925, 92%. That's what that stands for. When you see 832, that means it's 83.2% silver. And you weigh that, you're going to get paid for the how much it would be if they melted it down and got rid of the impurities. So having 80% silver, that's still a lot. Having a coin with 40% silver, that has value. And those dimes are good to have because they're so tiny. So you can have a whole lot of them, you can trade one piece of silver for something else and you still got plenty of other smaller little dimes left. That's what you really want, is them little bitty ones. The coins and silver, that's what you want. Them kilos of silver and stuff like that, yeah, that's cool. It's worth a lot, but I mean, that's hard to be maneuver around and carrying, because you got to think about when you go on a move and be as pilgrims on the earth, what the scriptures say, you want to carry as much weight as possible because you're going to have to be traveling by foot for miles upon miles. So weight matters, but you save up on different things, the everyday things that make life easier. You want to save on those things too. Put some shit to the side. Start saving up on soaps, wipes. Okay, wipes is really good to have because not gonna be no running water pretty soon. Public works will be closed down. If there is running water, there's not going to be anyone working at the water filtration plant to make sure they clean the water. So if you open your faucet, it's going to be literally doo-doo water, shit water coming out. And even if it might look clear, it's full of medicines and bacteria because the water filtration plant is closed down because the government's gone down. Chaos is unfolded. Ain't nobody going to work at them places. Somebody might go in there and turn the valve on, but there's nobody there, and there's no workers there to clean the water. So water's going to be a commodity. Save up on that. Just little things that you can do. You want to have a good backpack's worth of items and have as much necessities put in that backpack as well as what you need, survival tools as well. Have that. But trying to doomsday prep and have a damn warehouse in your basement or a room or wherever you got, that ain't the key, man. Most of us, we don't know where we're going to be at the time or day when this shit hits the fan and everything collapses. You might be at work. You might be out of state. Hell, you could be out of the country on a vacation. And the shit goes down. So you can't put your trust in man-made worldly things. You got to pray to Yahweh Shem El Shai, man. You got to have that name first, name of the Lord. And you must believe. And you have to be in good grace with him. If you've been wicked, you fell out the truth, you came against the men of Yahweh Shem Al Shai, you might as well hang it up. Just go ahead and enjoy your time while you still can, because the Lord going to kill you. Straight up, man. A lot of people are going to perish. Scriptures talk about how there should be dead bodies laying in the street in that city spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. And this is the city spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. There's going to be a time where it's going to be common to see and smell a body, a corpse, as you're traveling and moving around. Let that sink in. Remember how horrible roadkill smells you pass it on the road? It's going to be smelling like that everywhere in America, because many people are going to perish. This is a sign that that's coming. Okay, so Lord's will, this lesson is edifying. I'm going to close out, give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, Natasha's truth and will well. And citations to you, hopefully, like pushing this truth and honest sincerity. Shalom.